Hi everybody, welcome to today's video. In this video we're going to have a chat around our personal budget planner and why absolutely everybody in the country needs to download it and complete it. And don't worry, it's free to download. I'm going to run through the live example here, and what we're trying to get to here is the number. I think everybody needs to know a little bit more about their income, a little more about their expenses, but ultimately what their number is, especially if you have a family or you're in a relationship with somebody. So let's have a look at the personal budget planner and have a look at putting real examples in here and see what happens. So here we have it here. When you open this after you take the free download, you're going to be welcomed with 4 tabs at the top: income, expenses, savings, and the dashboard. The dashboard is where it all comes together for you. So you've already pre-populated a couple of examples into this video. So first off, we're going to look at income. And in the income tab, a few mistakes are made here by people. Now, everybody usually knows what their salary is. And what you're looking for here is your net monthly income. Now, net monthly income means what hits your bank account, what you get paid. If you're self-employed, or by your employer if you're a PAYE worker. In this example, we're going to look at a couple who are on 80,000 combined income. One of them is on 50,000 and the other is on 30,000 euro. So we see here, income one after tax is 3,405 euro. If you have a situation where you're paid weekly, simply get that weekly figure, multiply it by 52, and then divide it by 12 in order to get your net monthly income figure. Okay, don't multiply it by 4 because remember there's 52 weeks in the year. So multiply 52 weeks and divide it by 12 to get your monthly figure. So income source 1 is 3,405, income source 2 is 2,105 euro. Don't guesstimate these, really important you know what you're getting paid. Now the biggest error people do is they forget other sources of income. So the other source of income here is going to be the children's allowance. We stuck with typical Irish examples here. We have little Johnny and little Mary, and the children's allowance for them are 140 euro each. The reason I've separated them out into 2 payments rather than one at 280 euro is that let's say Johnny is 10, we've got 8 years before Johnny's children's allowance finishes, and Mary is 5, we therefore got 13 years. Those time periods are really important if you're trying to plan for something like kids' education funds. So it's very important you know what time frames you have here. That's why you keep the two of them separate. So that's it. That's all the source of income we have in this household. You might have a situation where somebody is on a carer's allowance or somebody is on social welfare benefits. So again, any income that's coming in, or somebody might have another part-time job, or they might be doing a nixer on the side. So whatever is happening, money's coming in, you record it here. And you can see here the total income from this family is 5,790 euro. Next of all, we're going to move into the expenses field, okay? Now, can't explain enough how important it is that you get your expenses correct. Do not guesstimate these. The more accurate the information, the more accurate your financial plan is going to be, and the more likely you're going to have a much better financial future because you got the correct figures to work with. So here we're going to go through these examples. I put these examples in. Remember, before I do this, these are examples. Everyone's going to be different. But this is the reason why everybody in the country, in my opinion, needs to complete the personal budget planner, because everybody is different. Take your eyes away from what your neighbours do, what your family members are doing, and what your colleagues are doing, because every household is going to be different. It's going to be different in net income, it's going to be different in taxes, it's going to be different in the number of kids they have, how they spend their money, where they spend their money, where they save, if they invest, etc., etc. So it's really important you get to know your number. So let's run through these. And actually, while I'm doing this, do let me know if I've over-egged them or under-egged them for you. So let me know what your expenses are compared to these in the comment section below. So if I go up to the top here, we're going to see the first thing we have is rent or mortgage. So you have that in as 1382. Now if you look at here, when we do our personal budget template here, you see the mortgage is 350,000 euro. The 350,000 euro is 2.5% over 30 years, and that gives a total of 1382 per month for this couple. Now look at this actually, while we're on this. 147,000 euro is going to be paid to the bank just in interest. So remember, the couple borrowed 350,000 euro and they're going to be paying back an extra 147. So in total, they're going to be paying the bank just under $500,000. That's why it's important to remember the bank needs you as much as you need them when it comes to a mortgage. So we go back into the template here. We continue with the expenses. Mortgage is 1382. Going down here, then we have electricity at 120, we have gas at 110, mobile phone 50 euro, broadband at 70, home insurance at 30 euro, TV package at 70, TV license, which you should all be paying, is at 13 euro. We're going to presume that the childcare is nil in this instance, that the kids are in school. Car loan is 200 euro in this example. Petrol and diesel. Now again, when it comes to something, guys, If it comes to something like the petrol and diesel, you got to remember that from a petrol and diesel point of view, it's again a situation where everybody be different. That's coming here at the moment at over €400. That's coming in here at €400 per month. But again, it depends on whether you have one car, whether you have two cars, how much you're driving to work, or whether you're using public transport. But over the last number of months, this has been a massive cost because of inflation to majority of households around the country, how much they drive, especially if you go back and you look at how many cars are there, for example. And next then we're into car insurance at €50 per month, groceries at €800, 200 a month. I noticed that when people are filling these in, groceries tend to be really underestimated by people compared to what they're really spending. And also the same when it comes to holidays. So down here you see a little bit later for holidays, for argument's sake, we've put holidays in at €400 per month or 4,800 a year. Now I know not everybody can afford to go on €5,000 holidays. I've really made an example out of this in this spreadsheet. And the reason why I really want people to think about how many holidays are we going. But holidays don't include the family holiday. If you're invited to a friend or family member's wedding and you're staying overnight, or you're bringing the kids away for a weekend, they should be all going into that cost, not just thinking, I drop 2.5 or 3 grand a year on a package holiday, it's 3,000. You're forgetting about all those other nights away that you might be lucky enough to enjoy. Going back up here then, you'll see a couple of things we put in here is life insurance at €100. The reason why it's €100 is that this couple of my experience and my advice should have 3 plans. Number one is you have life cover for the mortgage, which is mortgage protection because they have got a mortgage. If anything happens to one of them, the mortgage is paid off. Number 2, they should probably have additional life assurance if they don't have it in work. Or else number 3 or number 2, they should have income protection to make sure they're protecting all this income and make sure that if something was to go wrong, sickness, health-wise over the long term, that these expenses can continue to happen for the family, which is really important. Credit card, €120 here. Big tip, if you have an outstanding credit card balance, switch it to On Post, 0% interest. However, after 12 months, don't use it because a 0% reverts to a really, really high charge of an interest rate. So make sure you kill the credit card over 12 months. Membership, pets here for €30 for a month for insurance. Clothing and shoes at €400 per month. Again, this is something I see people putting in €50 per month for, €600 a year. Very unlikely that you're going to clothe 4 people, even with the likes of back to school, etc., for maybe €50 per month. Or it doesn't really add up the figures. So I've put maybe a little bit too heavy here for some people. But I do think if you have 4 people in a household and you're taking in school, or if you are going to the odd holiday and getting new clothes, it probably will be more like that 400 on average. And then coming on from there, we have gifts. Again, another one that people forget about all the time is the gifts. When it comes to gifts, if you've got 4 people in the household, never mind the parents, if you look at the kids, and just the amount of parties they're probably going to be invited to on a yearly basis, you're going to have to really think about how much that's costing. I know these are only little things like maybe a €10 voucher or a €20 voucher for classmates, or maybe yourself going to a wedding or something and giving a gift to a family member or a friend. But these are the things that you really need to be careful about because they can really make or break your own income in the household on an annual basis, or put you under pressure where you weren't expecting to be under pressure, or have you reaching for the credit card or reaching for a personal loan in order to survive, and you're left scratching your head going, where's all my money gone? That's the one thing we get here at Ask Paul all the time. We go through people's finances when they come in for financial planning consultations. When they do these figures for us, they put them into a software system for us. And the one thing they always say is, I'm earning so much cash, I just don't know where it's going. But my experience is the estimation or the guesstimation of figures that doesn't really help. Going down here then, we have the holidays, online subscriptions and adult entertainment. Again, I put in as 400 a month. People always underestimate this. €100 per week. Cinema for 2 people these days will cost you in around 50 quid. In most places, if you're bringing the kids, probably going to be a bit more expensive. So again, a night out or a meal out, you're not going to get much change over €100. Again, people might feel that they're not spending that, but they might find they are. But again, do let me know in the comment section below what you feel about that €100 per week. Are you spending way more than that or way less? Now, obviously, it depends on whether you have kids or whether you have a mortgage, whether you're still living at home. I know when I had no kids and I was still living at home, it was certainly more than €100 a week on socialising. So this is your expenses. So you see here, 5,185 is going out of the household. After this, we're going to look at savings. We can see here this couple have 200 a month going into the credit union. They say they have just over 5 grand in the credit union already, and then they have this emergency fund as well, about €100 per week, and they've got a couple, or 100 per month, and they've got a couple of grand set aside for kind of emergencies. They have an emergency fund, which is really good. This 200 and this 100 is €300 per savings. Now this is where everybody needs to get to, and I can't stress that enough. Wait till you see this. So this couple, from an income and expenses, go straight for the middle here, okay? 89.55% of their money's going out before their savings, okay? Now, just let that sink in for a couple of seconds. That's 89% of the money they're earning is going straight back out the door again. And why do I always harp on about income protection? This is why. If we go back, for example, so it's €89, so they have 89%, just under 90%. So we have 5,700 coming in and 5,100 going out. We're not taking the savings into consideration because they're discretionary. If I go back up to example here for income, let's say we take this income at 3,400 and wipe it. Let's say somebody gets sick or long-term illness. Okay, you'll have a little bit of state disability in there, but just take it out even for a second. What happens here all of a sudden is the dashboard is that they now have a 217 expenditure compared to their income coming in. And you can see here that they're in the red at 3,100. So they only have one of the incomes coming in the children's allowance. And you can see the cash balance here at a minus. So that's why it's so important to make sure that some of your budget goes to protecting that 89% of your expenses. Income protection could be 50 quid, 60 quid, you get tax relief on it. I always say this, I think it's the most important financial product. Mortgages, pensions, investments, put them all aside. Make sure you have that income protected so life can continue. So I'm going to go back and put that income back in there. I think it was €3,405. So that's back in on the dashboard. You see it's coming to 89. Now, the number. What's this couple's number? This couple's number is $5,000 a year, $5,000 a month rather, or just over 62 grand a year. So that's what they need, is 62 grand a year over 5 grand a month, just to keep the lights on. Okay, we've got holidays of 5 grand in there, we've got clothing and foot allowance of 5 grand as well. So we may have gone heavy in some parts, but there's a lot more people out there spending way more than that as well. So we are trying to get the averages. But I want to challenge you to find out what your number is. The most important part of anyone's financial planning journey is, number one, find out what your number is. Download the personal budget planner for free today and complete it over the next couple of days and find out what your number is. Step one. Hope this has been informative. I'm going to do a part 2 of this video to stick around to see what we're going to do with that extra income that this couple have and their €300 saving, to show how it goes into a financial plan. But in the meantime, any questions, always hit us up as questions@askpaul.ie or any DM channels through our social media. And please comment below and let us know what you think of the expenses. Cheers and have a good day.